time for our prophecy update. How about what's going on in Israel? Have you been watching the news? Oh my goodness. This is interesting, very interesting. Now, actually, last week, we started a list of what I consider to be realities or prophecies that we will perhaps see and find their fulfillment in the new year in 2009. We put together this list, but did not really create it as a list to be in any particular order, nor did we look at it as being an exhaustive list, but I took what I believe to be the most prophetic passages in the scriptures that perhaps will find their fulfillment in the year 2009. And of course, we started with this situation in Israel, specifically in Gaza. I happen to believe that this particular war finds its prophetic fulfillment in the prophet Zechariah, the 12th chapter. Israel has done something that they have not done since Hamas took control of Gaza. It is interesting. I don't know how many of you caught Fox News, Channel 15, if you have Oceanic Time Warner. 4 o'clock tonight, I believe, as it was last night, they're going to re-air a 1-hour program called Escape from Hamas. It is the documentary, the story, truly the testimony of the son of the founder of Hamas, who gave his life to Jesus Christ. You want to know how? There happened to be an American tour group in Israel, in Jerusalem, when he was there. And the Lord led this particular believer to invite this son of the Hamas organization to a Bible study, to which he accepted. And in the process of what God was doing in his life, led him to Matthew chapter 5, verse 41, where Jesus says, love your enemies. This was provocative to him. This was too high for his understanding. He didn't accept Christ right then and right there, but he did accept Christ because of this, and is now seeking asylum in the United States, residing in California. Of course, the Muslims now are going to try to kill him, pray for him. I found myself praying for him last night as I was watching him boldly declare his love for the Lord in his newfound relationship with the Lord. Now, you have to understand what Hamas is. Israel is against Hamas not as another country. Hamas is not a country. Hamas is a terrorist organization. Do you know that Hamas is funded by and fueled by none other than Iran? Same with Hezbollah. And it's very likely, some believe, that Hezbollah will open up another front in southern Lebanon, where they are, and launch attacks against Israel. Now, Israel has launched now a ground attack on Hamas in Gaza. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to remove Hamas from power in Gaza. They don't want Gaza. They gave up the Gaza Strip. Take it. We don't want it. So the Palestinians took control of it, and then Hamas took control from Fatah, who was the Palestinian Liberation Organization under one Yasser Arafat, who is no longer alive. He's in hell. Truly. Surprise, surprise. Not in paradise, as I was told. I believe that it's very possible that we will see now this escalate further. Now, what's the prophecy in Zechariah 12? And I don't want to take too much time. We did talk about this a little bit last week. But the surrounding peoples will besiege Judah and Jerusalem, and God himself will destroy them. It will be to their own peril. Now, the surrounding peoples really implies those who are close genetically to the Israelites, the Jews, and those who are close geographically in proximity to the Jews. So these are the quote-unquote Palestinian people, the Arab people, the Muslims who are there in Lebanon, in Syria, in Egypt, in Jordan. And see, they have these tunnels that are, that they're bringing in these Kadusha rockets to fire into Israel. And they've been firing these rockets in greater number, and they've been firing them deeper into Israel. And finally, Sipni Livni has had enough. And I think it might be a political move because there are elections coming up on February 10th. But I believe that Zechariah 12 is a prophecy to watch in the new year, especially in Israel. The second one we looked at last week was how Vladimir Putin's new Russia may become more aggressive geopolitically. We find this prophecy in Ezekiel 38 as well as in 39. And this dovetails into the third one that we looked at, which also finds its fulfillment in Ezekiel 38 and 39. And that's the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran and the president of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who believe that they are called, commanded, commissioned by Allah to bring in the Muslim Mahdi or Messiah, whom they believe in Islamic eschatology will rule and reign for 7 years. Can you say Daniel 9:27? What does Daniel 9:27 say? It says that he, the Antichrist, will confirm a covenant for 7 years. However, he will commit the abomination causing desolation at the 3.5-year mark in the middle of the tribulation. So those are the three that we looked at last week. Now let's look at a fourth prophecy that I believe has the potential to find its fulfillment in the new year. It's this, and I think you maybe with me see this. The United States will likely become less of a player on the world scene geopolitically, I believe economically, and particularly militarily. It is very likely that we will see the United States now sort of fade into the backdrop of obscurity on the world scene. And this will play out on many fronts, not the least of which is our waning and even removing of our support of Israel. I find it interesting that what's going on right now, of course, there's protests all over the world, particularly in Athens, where I guess it turned violent. Free Palestine. And there's no support for Israel. But you know what I find very interesting is the conspicuous absence of the protest of Arab nations supporting Hamas. If the truth be known, the Palestinians under Fatah or Mahmoud Abbas don't want Hamas to be in control, particularly in Gaza. Now, I know that might seem a little bit complicated to you, but the reality and the fact of the matter on the ground is that everything that we're told that will take place is taking place right before our very eyes. You know what's astonishing to me? In all the years that I've been studying Bible prophecy, which I started basically way back in the early 90s. Way back in the early 90s, I'm so old. And one of the things that's really astonishing to me is that everything is coming together very quickly.